can't tell if the chemistry's good by looking at it. It wasn't clear yesterday. For the last time, the saltwater pool is a chlorine pool.
This is the Talking Pools podcast with pool pros from every region in the country. If it happens in a pool, you'll hear about it here. Everything from tips and hacks to the latest tricks and trends. Breaking news, we lay it on the line. We tell it like it is because we think you deserve to know.
A lot of them were not. They were overdosing acid. And this is one of the more controversial things that I said. I still do it today. Measure and dilute your acid, people. And it's not me trying to criticize you. It's me understanding what that's actually doing. When you overdose or you don't dilute your acid enough, it goes to the bottom. It could etch a cement surface. It could cause a vinyl liner to weaken and eventually wrinkle, lose pigment. All these things, they're consequences. We're trying to look out for you. That a lot of pros just developed habits because they have to get to the next pool.
Pools can't be treated in a reactive way. You can't just ship things instantly. I've actually used cruise ships for a really long time as a bit of an analogy of swimming pools. You can't turn a cruise ship on a dime. You've got to make calculated adjustments and move very gently, same as pools. If your pH is off, if your ORP is off, you can't instantly change that. You need to come up with a plan and slowly make those changes. If your pH is 7.9 and you need to get down to 7.4, there's no way you can go and dump 40 liters of acid directly into that pool.
You've just become their preferred shit bucket. Because the truth is, a shit talker can't survive without a shit bucket. They live to talk shit, spread shit, stir shit, and make their shit everyone else's shit. But all that shit needs somewhere to go. So they find a shit bucket, the person willing to sit there, listen to shit, absorb the shit, validate the shit, eventually carry that shit around for them. Take away the shit bucket, and the shit talker is left standing there holding their own shit with nobody to give a shit.
The views, opinions, and statements expressed by Wayne in this episode are his own and do not reflect those of the Talking Pools podcast, its hosts, producers, sponsors, affiliates, or network partners.
Hi, everybody, and happy Thursday. Welcome to the Talking Pools podcast with Steve and Wayne. Hope everybody has had a great week. Like Steve on the West Coast and me on the East Coast, it's pretty fucking hot out there.
Boiling.
Right now, I'll tell you, it's only 89 degrees here, only. But the problem with me is the humidity is like 83%. So it feels like a freaking sauna out there every time you walk outside. So that ain't fun. 88's okay when the humidity is low, but
the humidity's been pretty bad here too in California with like the heat waves that we've been having. But
right.
The crazy part about it is like we'll have like a 55-degree swing.
Wow.
Where it's like 100 during the day and then it'll go down to 50 or 40, like 105 and then 55. It's like or 50. It's kind of a crazy swing. So at night when you're walking your dog and stuff, like you have a chill for sure. But then when you go in your house, because nobody really has air conditioning unless you have central air, then it's hot and you need to use like fans and different things like that. So I've been waking up in the middle of the night with like sweat on my face. I'm like, oh my God.
That's all you need.
It's only only for this month and next month though. And then it should cool off, especially here in Los Angeles. So
we always have a running joke here that the Mid-Atlantic area has 5 seasons: summer, spring, winter, fall, and August. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. But anyhow, I want to start off with something as a result of some things that have been happening the last couple weeks that are kind of personal, as hopefully most of you know.
Talking Pools Thursday. Steve, Wayne, Pat. Beat Boost in touch. Let's go. Rolling through LA in the Y4 Ranger. Yeah, 15 stops. Chlorine in the back. Yeah, D for the same tank cartridge. 2 homeowner talking crazy. I know what to do. Don't touch my teleport. Don't touch my time. Cordless robot in the pool. Battery on prime. Steps, ladders, main drains. Got them confused, but I'm Steve, the service guy. I don't lose. Truck bed messy, but the cam's organized. Don't look in there, that's proprietary. It's Thursday, White Ranger Thursday. Steve and Wayne in the booth, what they saying? Spin touch readings, don't get played. Talking Pools spray. No more drops and swirls, I'm digital now. Tighten up the test kit. Show you how, chemical accountability. Invoice on deck, distributor trying to play. I'm checking every check. Ranger Park, spin touch on the dash. Print that report, get that cash. It's Thursday, White Ranger Thursday. Steve and Wayne in the booth, what they say is spin touch precision, setting boundary, talking pools, podcast, pool industry. It's Thursday, White Ranger Thursday. Soon in, turn up, hear what they say. Hey yo, hold up. Pat from the California Pool Association. GL, Workers' Comp, Inland Marine. Natural pools, that's a whole new scene. Can't spill in the Ranger, we got you. Documentation from that spin touch too. But Steve, keep the customers out the pool. And Wayne, don't drop the spin touch in it. Commercial clients easy, residential wow. Can you come at 5? Nah, that ain't my style. Set expectation, protect your time. Holiday service, that ain't even right. Mental reward, shout outs, Andrea got the job. Pool pros building each other up, that's the job. From robotic cleaners to inventory control. White Ranger spin touch, running it, that's the goal. It's Thursday, White Ranger Thursday. Steve the service guy, Wayne the Titan. Spin touch, spinning pat with the insurance. Talking pools podcast. Pool pro moves, don't adjust the pump, don't touch the pole. White Ford Ranger Thursday show, let's go. Talking pools, spin touch, White Ranger. See y'all next Thursday.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Insurance Interlude with your host, Steve Sherwood, and our co-host, Pat Grignon from California Pool Association. So, Pat, the last couple interludes was kind of like what's what of going on with our daily service business, right? So, like, we had somebody and they didn't go with us for the renovation. We didn't know them yet. They renovated the pool. These guys got concrete in the pool, messed it up a bunch. Now we're kind of left to deal with it. Now, this is the first time that I've ever had this happen, right? Because there's always a lot of firsts. But I have had happen in the past where the shoe is kind of on the other foot. And I am the service company and I install an equipment pad. And, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be Hayward, it could be Pentair, it could be Jandy. Like it doesn't matter about the equipment, the brand. What matters is that, you know, we went and put it in and, you know, we don't service the pool. It was a one-off thing, right? So now they have a service guy that comes in and service guy either breaks something. You know, I've had it happen where on the top mount multi-port, guy was definitely touching it while the pump was rearing, you know, and the handle broke off. And like, it's almost impossible to just put on a new handle. They have them, but it's very, very hard. It's like a key that you need. So you would just buy like a whole new multi-port top for it. But like, that's something that's stupid. And like, if the client was like, hey, this guy said you broke it, and like we were really in that big of an argument, I would be like, you know what, guys, like, screw it. I'm going to go warranty it, and I go get one from Hayward or whatever, and I just go install it, and now see ya. Mm-hmm. But what if it's something that's more intricate than that? Like, what if the lines are now clogged and they're blaming you, and this is 6 months down the road? You know, like, how do we prove that we did a good job? And how do you also leave a job and say, like, everything is fine, you know, with the way that it is? And you know, the biggest example that I could give you is that if you resurface a pool for the first 6 months, like if you're at the pool every day and it's a commercial pool, I tell them, like, do the LSI, the Langolier Saturation Index, every day. And if you do the Langolier Saturation Index every day and your water chemistry is good, and 8 months go by and you have the people come out and they test your water and everything was in line, and you could show them records of, hey, we've been taking care of the pool, they're going to be like, all right, you know what? We're going to have to fix this.
Yeah.
But that almost never happens, right? Because people don't take they're not good record keepers, right? So now the pool company goes back that did the renovation and they're like, hey, we tested your water. The TDS is through the roof. The cyanuric acid is through the roof, because obviously you guys are putting in tablets every week. And the calcium's through the roof, you know, in the last 8 months or whatever. So what what do we have to protect ourselves, when someone comes after us about, shoddy work? And it might be fucked up now, but it wasn't fucked up when we were there. And like, we haven't touched it in a long time. So what's our recourse there?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, but blame game, right? I think about, like like you install an equipment pad or you replace an equipment pad, right? You're there. You're not the servicing company. You're just there to do the equipment work. And that's that. You think about like, who could you blame if the heater fails 2 months down the road, 3 months down the road? One of the major pieces of equipment. You got manufacturer, it could be a problem. You got distributor, you got installer, you got the service company, and you got the homeowner, right? You think about all the parties involved that could have broken the heater. So, it's pretty easy to get into a blame game and finger pointing, right? So, in that instance, again, we always talk about it, and it's a pain in the ass. It is in life, it is in business, but better records, the better off you are. I've actually seen a lot of folks out there. They come back, job's done, walk away, shake hand, money in the bank, everyone's happy, rock and roll. And then, coming and scheduling like a checkup or a wellness check or something, whether that's a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on the work, where, even sending an email, so it's in writing, being like, hey, just want to follow back up. Everything cool with the equipment, everything working good, no problems. Like, oh yeah, everything's great. Service company loves it. Everything's working perfect. Like, that's a really easy, and it's pretty good business practice as well that people would appreciate, but it's an easy way for CYA. If you can show that, like, yeah, sorry, like if something happened out of these 7 parties that could be the issue, like, it ain't me. Right. Yeah. If something happened after a month, well, that's certainly going to be something that's not the installer at that point. So, that's not the end all be all. There's never only one bullet in the gun, but it is a bullet in the gun. And, it'll be helpful for you if something were to come up and there is the blame game finger pointing.
Yeah. And like the biggest thing, you're talking about the heater, and like generally for the most part, like heaters don't just fail.
Totally. Yeah.
Where I think the more common thing, and this has happened a couple times, where like something's wrong with like the breaker or something, and like the service guy really doesn't know what he's doing, so he opens up like the Aqualink system, like takes the panel off and like touches the board with like a flathead screwdriver, shorts the board out. Like that's something that could totally happen. Yeah. First time I did that, I was like, what just happened? I'm like, why did that just spark like that? And I called my service manager, and he was like, did you fucking touch the board with the fucking, and I was like, I didn't mean to.
Never did it again, I'm sure.
No, I mean, like, but now that happened, like, I know that, that's a common issue, and it's like can't tell you how many guys will call me and they're like, Steve, we need your help. There's no power, like there's no power anywhere. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm like, the pump's not working, the heater is not working, like the automation, everything is off. And they're like, yeah, but the breaker, it's good, it's got power. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, have you checked the emergency stop button for the spa? And they're like, yeah, but the pool and the spa are off. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, did you ever think that the guy who installed it maybe tied the pool to the spa and they all turn off at the same time? And sure enough, that's what it was. But like, I remember when I first became a service guy and I had my first couple commercial pools, and for an hour, you're just sitting there like, what could be the problem with this? And then someone comes over and they click the thing, and like everything's like, wah, wah, wah. And you're like, get out of here. Like, I just wasted so much time. But, someone could do that. So let's this specific instance, because boards aren't cheap. Right. They're like they're pretty expensive. They're usually a couple $1,000s. So all of a sudden the board doesn't work anymore and it needs a new board. I mean, I guess that wouldn't really be for me to figure out. You would probably have like, and this is like, Pentair and Hayward and Jandy, they always want to send out their warranty companies to kind of find out what's going on and stuff. And, it's very seldom that I'll be like, hey, we already troubleshot the problem. Like, we know what it is. And they're like, okay, cool. We'll just send you the part. And if it is, it's from one of my reps that like knows me really well and knows that like knows my manager and knows that like we actually troubleshot it and like we actually were on hold for an hour and a half or whatever it was, you know. But that's why I love the, you know, the Facebook groups and stuff, because you can go on there and you can get some pretty good information. Like we're going to talk about this later on, but like I had a client that had like a step that was broken. And I can't find the step anywhere, you know, and like I've looked through like all the magazines, and like I'm putting in like hours now looking for these steps, and I just put it into a couple of the Facebook groups, and like I already got some great info on it. I haven't found it yet, but at least we're checking some boxes off of the list, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm really hearing is after you do a job and you're not the service company anymore, is to, you know, reach out to these people a few weeks after, or, you know, within a month, and, you know, make sure that they're still happy. And then, you know, everyone would have the assumption that like you're good and everything's good, and anything that happened after that is basically, you know, not your fault and not your deal, because you're not the one that's coming, you know, every week.
Every week. Yeah, exactly. It's a nice touch too. I mean, you know, you call them back, and yeah, really, you know, multifaceted, but yeah, it's a good CYA for sure. You're getting a thumbs up that everything's good. It's been, you know, a reasonable amount of time that it's been working correctly. And, you know, at that point, it's like, hey, the thing broke, and it's 2 months later, like they're saying you didn't install it correctly. It's like, all right, well, it wouldn't have worked for 2 months straight if I didn't install it correctly. Right. So you tell.
I'm going back to somebody's house on Saturday. I was there last week, and or tomorrow, I guess. And she's like an older lady, and she basically said that like the pump's not working, but the pool is still at 90 degrees. You know what I mean? So like I was like, I'm like, that's not really that possible, but like I'm gonna come out and, you know, take care of that for you. But I know that like she's got like an older Pentair pump where you have to like really go into the menu to start changing stuff. Like I just looked at the schedule, you know, so like there's no way that I changed the schedule. She was like, you must have changed the schedule. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I'll come check it out for you.
50 buttons later. Yeah. I don't
Right.
think so.
But like, you know, sometimes those are the things where like, if they're your client, you got to go out and just kind of make sure that they're, but it's a totally different story when someone's not your client and now they're calling you back out and they're expecting you to fix something for free, or, you know, whatever it is. And that's why like I'm super clear that like I am not a Pentair warranty station. I'm not a Raypak or Hayward warranty station. And if I'm going to warranty something for you, you're paying for us to put it in. Like we warranty parts only. Like I'm not coming back for 2 years and also putting this shit in for free, because like if you have a saltwater pool and, you know, you decide that you don't want to put in the ASME Cooper nickel heater, and, you know, I agree to put in a lower level heater because that's what you want for money wise, you know, and that's what you can afford. I'm not going to be responsible 6 months later when the high limit switch goes, you know what I mean, to put that back in for you. And I feel like that's a lot. That goes on a lot, because like people don't educate their clients on like, you have a saltwater pool, like there's only really one heater you can put in. Like there's only one, you know, like we're going to put in the commercially rated the commercial one that's rated for salt cells. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So, all right, Pat, great segment today. As always, if you need anything from California Pool Association, please reach out to them. And if you jump on for a general liability annual policy, they will actually give you 1 month free, which is pretty cool. Pat will be linking up next week. And guys and listeners out there, thank you so much for listening in. And we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Steve.
The mobile WaterLink Spin Touch allows pool and spa professionals the ability to test water in the field. A patented WaterLink Spin reagent disc is used with the innovative photometer to measure 10 different tests in just 60 seconds. That's right, just 60 seconds, and you'll have results displayed simultaneously on the photometer's touchscreen. That's not all. You also have the ability to send the data through Bluetooth into a smartphone or a tablet device. The photometer can measure free chlorine, bromine, total chlorine, combined chlorine, pH, alkalinity, hardness, cyanuric acid, copper, iron, phosphate, borate, biguanide shock, and salt. The water analysis can be proactive since they are able to measure all of these important tests and recommend correct procedures to fix their water chemistry issues when using our WaterLink Solutions Pro software program. It allows pool and spa analysts the best way to achieve precise results. So simple, anyone can use it. This is the most advanced system for precise use of wet chemistry methods ever produced. Pool and spa analysts can achieve precision without time-consuming tests or cleanup procedures. This groundbreaking analysis system is so simple, no vials to fill, no prep time, no guessing. To learn more about this innovative lab, visit www.waterlinkspintouch.com. Again, www.waterlinkspintouch.com.
Make your voice heard. Join the Council for the Model Aquatic Health Code. Lend your expertise to the MAC, science-based guidance from the CDC, and the only all-inclusive national pool code that addresses current aquatic issues. Learn more at cmac.org. That's cmahc.org.
I was with Taylor for 32 years, from 1991 to, total of 32 years, till September of 2022. So in a few weeks, I will have been retired almost 4 years. When I was with Taylor, one of the primary duties that I had was essentially customer service, in the sense that I was the person that answered all the technical calls. And they were calls from 91 to like 2000, when email suddenly popped in. And then everything, websites and everything, internet and things like that. So I would also handle emails and inquiries through the website. And so my primary responsibility was that. And then my secondary responsibility was tied into that. And Steve is the beneficiary of that. And that is education and teaching and doing seminars at trade shows and in other venues and things like that. I think just before I left Taylor, we figured out that I'd probably taught at least in 32 years, somewhere around 45 to 50,000 people. That's a fucking large number. And in a variety of different subjects. So it includes, seminars and CPO, and it includes everything. And that was all done and based on something that the then owner of Taylor back then asked me to do. He said, I want you to become visible within the industry. And I think I kind of did that. People knew me. I was the Taylor guy. And I always would joke, if I was the real Taylor guy, would I be here? Kind of deal. But, I own the company. I don't need to be here. My last name's not Taylor. But, and I did that, and I accomplished that. And people got to know me, talk to the Taylor guy, call Taylor, call Wayne at Taylor, that kind of thing. And it in one hand, it felt really good for that I knew that people in the industry could call Taylor and get an answer on something, or get a no answer and say, I really don't know. Well, let's go find out the answer. And that happened too many times over the years, but for the most part, I was pretty good, I think. Pat myself on the back. Yeah, Steve can probably attest to that, but I mean,
Wayne, in the mentor, like with the, obviously we have the mentor thing going on right now, and we're not eligible to be part of it. Because number one, we're part of the judging panel, right? Because we get to look at all the anonymous people and stuff. But I would say 1000% that, if you weren't part of the Talking Pools podcast, that number one, you'd be nominated by one of those 50,000 people. And if all of those 50,000 people decided to say, okay, we're not going to nominate him, like, you would be my guy without a doubt. Like, there's people that help in the industry, but being a mentor.
That's kind of where I'm going a little bit here, is that, for the longest time when Taylor was privately owned, that's what we did was, and we were known as the people to, I would answer questions about things that I had not no knowledge, but that it wasn't really within my realm. I mean, non-testing, non-chemistry things. I'd get the calls. Why is my pool cloudy? Why is it leaking? Why is it, this and that? And over the years, I gained a pretty decent amount of knowledge overall in the industry, and not just my area of expertise. And it felt really, really good to be able to help people in person, on the phone, emails, whatever. It felt really, really good. Then come the fall of 2021, and Taylor was sold to Fluidra. and became part of the Fluidra group, and kind of was the writing on the wall for me that pushed me to retire, because I could sense what was going to happen. And it wound up, it eventually did. But back then, you just got one of those weird feelings, that something's going on here, something's going to happen. Well, what actually happened was, and it was brought to my attention by a colleague of mine that some of you may know or have experience with. Her name is Katie Crysdale, and Katie is up in Alberta, Canada. And she is a member of a number of committees at PHTA that I am on or chair of. And she's a CPO instructor. And so she's very, very knowledgeable, very, very good person. She actually told me that she was using webinars that I gave back in 2020 and 2019 when she teaches CPO and teaches classes that I had done about water testing and balance, So it's still out there. I mean, I might have gained a little weight, might have lost a little weight, might have lost a lot of hair, but she's still using them. And she said, what you did, you meaning me, what you did was invaluable. And it just shows to show you, even the stuff that you talked about 5, 10, 15 years ago is still valid and still good, because you were able to explain things to people on a pretty basic level that had no knowledge. So all the newbies in the industry, I was able to help. And that felt really, really good. Well, Katie Katie emailed me the other day, and she told me about these webinars she was going to use. And I thanked her, of course. And she said, yeah, when you call Taylor now, everything that you did as far as technical information, webinars, YouTube videos, things like that, gone. And there is no way to contact Taylor to get a technical question answered. It doesn't happen easily. So in other words, there's an 800 number, but it goes into ordering. And the 800 number used to also go into me. And somebody calls up with a technical question about a test kit or chemistry, they can't get a hold of anybody. Is that good? No. Does it help with the Taylor brand? No. And so it doesn't keep it up with the same way. So at the same level. So adding to that, not only Fluidra, and I'll be honest with you, when Fluidra came on board, there were a lot of promises made, which were never kept, which is typical. But Fluidra doesn't have anybody that can answer technical questions about water chemistry and testing, because Taylor is the only company that they have in that line of things that they own that has anything to do with testing or chemistry. So there are people who don't know. Okay. So customers have to go to other sources, which is fine, which is great. Lamont's got a great, thank you, Lamont, for being a sponsor, because Taylor never did. Lamont has a really good customer service department. And in fact, Rudy had, God, I forgot the guy's name already. It's terrible. It happens when you hit 70, Stephen. But they have a really good guy there that kind of does what I used to do, but at Taylor, he does at Lamont. So he's available to answer questions and to give proper responses. Then you have other people in the industry. Eric Knight. Some of you may know Eric. I don't know if you know Eric or not.
Yeah,
Steve,
of course. Yeah, he was.
Eric, really good guy. I'm patting myself on the back.
He just moved over to Poolbrain from.
Right, exactly right. Well, that's what I was kind of getting to. When Eric first started with Arenda, I was one of the people that helped train him, at least in the testing and chemistry. So, pat me on the back and, good boy, Eric, you were a good student back then. And I've seen him grow and develop. And he kind of did for Arenda what I did for Taylor. He was always available to answer questions, always there. And then he moved on to taking over Watershape University and being a director of education there, which is fine. But then he recently moved over to Poolbrain. And I know Eric well. And Eric, hopefully you're listening. I said, man, I really appreciate you and really admire what you're doing. But I kind of understand why you went over there, because you're not feeling it. You weren't feeling it. You didn't have that warm fuzziness that you get when you're able to help somebody at a level.
So as a third party outside, what happened to Arenda a few years ago?
Well, yeah,
they got bought by somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really the, I think the underlying thing with this whole thing is that it's actually not surprising to hear this because, okay, and I'll give you an example, Wayne. I called Pentair the other day or I told my service manager, Carlos, I was like, hey, this salt cell, something's going on with it. I was like, you need to call.
Right.
So he calls and he texts me and he's like, I've been on hold for 90 minutes. He's like,
wow.
He's like, what do you want me to do here? You know, he's like, I can't stay here any longer. Like, I've got to go. And I was like, all right, just go. And I did call my rep, who is amazing. You know, he really is. And he was like, just call me. He was like, you know, I'll help you with the technical stuff. And he is really technical. He used to own his own electrical company. Really, really smart guy in like automation and technical stuff. And, you know, I have him as a resource and I didn't even think of it at the time. But, you know, if you don't have a back channel to get to someone like I do with you, where like, I'm like, okay, we got a question. Like I stopped class. I'm like, I'm calling my guy, Wayne, boom. 90% of the time, unless you're in the middle of something, you're picking up.
I'm waiting for you to FaceTime me one time in the middle of
So, you know, and I think what's really sad about the whole thing is that, you know, not that it's not there anymore, but more so that it's not yours.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you did this and I worked for another company for a really long time and, you know, built up a bunch of stuff. Like we started the Facebook group, the Certified Pool Operator one in 2010 while I was working for that company, you know?
Right.
But that was something that was like my intellectual property because I was my Facebook handle on there. It wasn't like the company's, you know, but we had started that to help answer questions just because we were getting too many questions from students. Like it was like, it would take us like a day or two to get back to people. And we were like, what if we just like started a group where, you know, and now it's turned into its own thing on the internet, right? So like
it's almost its own life now.
There's just a lot of great groups out there, but there's also, you know, a lot of guys where when I'm trying to show my guys something, I haven't done it in a while, I'll go watch a YouTube video and I'll be like, okay, cool. Like that's, you know, he goes through all the steps and like we do it a little different like this, but whatever. And if I like what it is, I mean, I'll send it over to my guys and be like, hey, before you go do this, you know, go ahead and watch this video. Now, am I sending out a guy that's never done electrical before to go change a pump? Like, no, I'm not doing that. Right. You know, like I'm talking about cleaning odd filters, you know, like the S2000 and the S4000 where it's got the stainless steel lid on it. And like, you have to like, there's tricks that you can kind of use to, you know, make it happen. And if you don't, you know, like taking apart DE filter screens, if you don't have the like grid on top of it, if it's missing and you don't do a lot of filter cleanings, good luck getting that thing back together. You know, like you got to turn it upside down. You got to like, and you know, I was doing a lot of filter cleanings and I was pretty seasoned and there'd be times where I'm like, I'm fucking missing the bolt, you know, like this bolt, where did this thing fall, you know, and I'm 40 minutes looking for a bolt or whatever. But, you know, in the age of information, it's wild to hear that they wouldn't want to, you know, keep that because it's actually theirs. You know what I mean? Like they could plaster it. You could be Taylor forever, you know, and that's really the disappointing part because there are so many good things that you have put out. And we also use some of your stuff, you know, in the CPO class. And obviously we talk about a lot of the, you know, fundamentals that you've kind of, you know, instilled in us. And I think the biggest thing is you've never just given me an answer. You know, you've always been like, okay, let's think about this. Like, all right, did you get this? You know, like, give me that reading. Like first you need a full panel reading. And it's really important to see the whole picture. And this is something that Rudy talks a lot about on his show. He actually I just listened to his show today. He was talking about that. But you really just need to ask the right questions. And sometimes if you just go into it without asking questions, you can kind of get, you know, bit in the butt a little bit.
And you know, it's always absolutely 100% true. But add on to that is that, you know, asking the questions, but know who to ask the questions.
Of course.
You know, that's the other thing. And again, here I am patting myself on the back. I was the person for testing in chemistry. And it wasn't just for Taylor. It was within the industry too, as there were others also. There was probably a core of about 10 or 12 of us that between somewhere in North America and Europe and Australia, we all kind of knew what to do kind of deal. I mean, remember this?
Yeah, you wrote it.
Yep. As part of every test kit. Guess who wrote it?
So this seems like an opportunity, Wayne.
Well, yeah, I know. And I know where you're going on that. And I've been approached about it, but quite honestly, I don't want to go there. At least not yet. But I guess my whole point for this little rant thing is that it kind of hurt me a little when I found out that Taylor wasn't as helpful, let's put it that way, as it was when I was there. And that was a little bit of a, stab me kind of thing, but it hurt. And it's not just Taylor. It's a lot of like your experience with Pentair, and it's not just the pool industry. It's other things. Like I'm in the process now of, I've talked to 4 different customer service reps over as many days regarding some medical equipment that I needed to order, and nobody's calling me back like they promised. Nobody's sending me an email with the information I need like they promised. And it's very, very frustrating. So it's not just pool and spa, the industry, but it's everybody. So I guess what I'm saying is, what the hell am I saying? I guess what I'm saying is make sure that when you have a question about something, that one, you know who to go to, or you find out who to go to that's going to give you an answer, whether it's a customer service rep, a sales rep, whatever, and do your research as best you possibly can. And hello, here at Talking Pools, look at who we have on our staff, our hosting staff. I mean, I've got 32 years in. Steve, you've been around for what, 800, 900 years now?
Just under 20, but about 20 if I'm from when I really started. So
yeah, and Rudy and I started around the same time, so I'm going to say the same amount. I mean, and the other hosts, we've got a lot of experience, a lot of good experience. And if you have a question that you're not getting an answer to, or you don't think the answer is right or whatever, send us an email, talkingpools@gmail.com. We will answer it. That's a guarantee. We will answer it. We will, with your permission, share your question and our answer and our response. And it doesn't have to be on chemistry and testing. It could be on pretty much any aspect of the industry. I mean, Steve's got incredible experience, not only in the service industry, but how to run a business successfully, which is part of, survival for him. Not so much for me because I have a different focus, but we've got a ton of experience. So I guess the thing is, utilize the people that are out there within the industry because we can help. Okay. Just don't leave us in the lurch like a couple companies did, the one that makes the blue test kit. So I'm stepping off my soapbox now, Steve. So go, your turn.
So
follow that one, bud.
I think we should take this into another episode, maybe. I think this is a good enough one as it is.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we don't want to really inundate too many people with this, but yeah, okay, that sounds good. That I got the hint. So, guys, this is Talking Pools. Steve and Wayne. We've got a ton of other people as hosts that can help you. We're running the Mentor of the Year situation. If you go to Talking Pools on Facebook and Instagram, a couple places, you'll see the list of people who have been nominated. Some of them are very well known in the industry. Some of them were local today. And again, talkingpools@gmail.com. Email us. Let us know. We're here to help you, and not only to be two talking heads about pool and spa stuff. Okay, we're a resource for you. So, Stephen, thank you as always. Take care. Give my best to Jen and everybody out there on the West Coast. Good luck. Okay.
Stay cool.
Stay cool. Right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
The opinions expressed in this episode belong solely to the individuals who express them and do not reflect the views of the Talking Pools podcast, its sponsors, affiliates, or network partners. I
just wanted to take a minute to say thank you for listening today. I'm hoping you enjoyed the episode as much as we enjoyed putting it together for you. Listen, it's been a couple of wacky, crazy, screwed up years from pandemic to Poolmageddon. I just want you to know that we are all in this together. If there's anything that we can do for you, send me an email at talkingpools@gmail.com. Again, that's talkingpools@gmail.com. We're here. This is your podcast. We are the Pool People's podcast, of the pool people, for the pool people, by the Pool People's podcast. This one is about you. So thank you for tuning in and listening. Do me a favor, click subscribe before you go. That way you don't miss an episode.